Yeah, so we're minus at the moment. Yes, so I think it's about -1 or 2 in the day here. So it's a little bit chilly, but I think it was worse earlier in the week. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's going to be a bit warmer over the weekend. But we'll see. Not that we can go anywhere.
Still there? The lockdown is still there in London, so you're all working from home?
Yeah, so I'm 100% at home. Yeah, and we've got our lockdown for at least a month more. Yeah.
Okay. But I think now it is much in control. The corona is now much in control in terms
not really here. That's why we're in such serious lockdown. So we're waiting for the vaccines for that number to go so high to retract the issues of the spreading. So we're kind of in the middle, and we're just waiting for the effects of the vaccine to kick in, so that the hospitals can get back to normal, so they can cope better. So it's not as bad as obviously the first lockdown, but it's so serious that we're in lockdown. But hopefully, it's going to improve soon.
Okay. So just praying and wishing that this phase should come down at the earliest. It's really been long now.
Oh, it has. We're getting up to a year, aren't we? So it really has.
So true. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to traveling again. I really miss traveling now. It's really getting to a point where not just missing sort of the chance to come over to India, but just missing kind of going to the next town and city. It's getting to that point now where I really miss local travel as well.
Oh, yes, so true. Yes.
I'll let you get on anyway. I can see it's a minute to kind of go before you get going, so I'll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we'll start exactly at 4.
Good afternoon and namaste. This is Zida Madan. Welcome everybody. It's with tremendous pleasure that I welcome you all to the session on governance for sustainability. Sustainability means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In addition to natural resources, we also need resources. Good governance promotes accountability, transparency, efficiency, and rule of law at all levels and allows efficient management of human, natural, economic, and financial resources for equitable and sustainable development, guaranteeing civil society participation in decision-making processes. Over to you, Akriti.
Top businesses know a way to improve profits and gain customer loyalty by concentrating on sustainability. Our session today is all about an in-depth conversation about these complexities. To take us forward, I would like to introduce Dr. Jaya Yadav, a professor of organizational behavior and human resource at Amity Business School. Dr. Jaya is also the head of PhD program along with the Department of Human Resources. Ma'am has a vast experience of more than 20 years in academics. She has authored 2 books and has presented and published various research papers in national and international conferences and journals. Now, I would request Dr. Jaya Yadav to please take over.
Thank you so much, Akriti and Divya. Thank you for the humble introduction. So now with this, we move ahead from where we had stopped yesterday. And I am sure that when we look back to yesterday, the learnings that we have gained, the learnings that we've gained from our ancient scriptures, we have seen that corporate governance has always been in the way of doing business. It has always been in the way of managing kingdoms. Corporate governance is no new word. It is the way of life. It is the way of bringing sustainability in managing businesses, in managing corporates, in managing territories, in managing the kingdoms. So corporate governance, as we move ahead with, and then we see that there has been number of awards that have been instilled in this, because the management says that modern management says that it's very vital that the right pillars have to be in the places so that the machinery functions well. So organizations, the management have penned down with the concept of understanding and trying to analyze which are the corporates, which are the ways in which they have started, they are doing well, and the way they have been functioning, and they're able to achieve the desired learning outcomes, the desired achieving the outcomes. And then they have realized, organizations, the management has realized that yes, this is the way we should be going through. So in an attempt to recognize the enormous endeavors towards sustainable development, we have the society at large. ICC confers the Corporate Governance and Sustainability Vision Awards to various Indian business. Right, which means that all across the globe, it has been understood, it has been accepted that yes, corporate governance is the key to success. This is the vital key towards organizational excellence, organizational development, and finally to organizational progress. So now when we look into this concept, these awards have started in the way back in 2011. And since then, so many organizations, whether we talk about the country's Maharatnas, we talk about the country's Navratnas, or the country's Mini Ratnas, they have all been awarded after a very stringent guidelines, checks. They have been found out, they have been judged. So just an example I wanted to show, talking about the Indian Chamber of Commerce have identified so many categories while bestowing the Corporate Governance Award. So as a management student, as a management professional, it's very imperative, it's very important to understand that these awards are being awarded to organizations on various categories. Like we could see, operational performance excellence is one of the category for which the awards are being given. We have for HR management for excellence, human resource excellent. We have the category for the corporate social responsibility. These awards talking about the organizations, understanding which are the organizations who've tried to ensure that they have done the best in terms of corporate social responsibility. And contribution of women in India in PSUs is another one category, which is for which they are being awarded. Corporate governance, again, being one. Then we have for research and development, technology development, and of course for CEO of the year. So these various awards are basically being bestowed to the organizations on the basis of the organizational performance at large. Right, so as we move ahead, and just not this happening by Indian Chamber of Commerce, but when we look at it global wise, there are so many other committees and bodies which are ensuring to give to come up and give the awards on corporate governance. As we can see, NASDAQ was honored at the 2020 Corporate Governance Award. Similarly, we have so many other corporate governance awards. This is just a few, a glimpse of it, and because it has been now been taken into understanding that yes, corporate governance is the path towards organizational success as well as for organizational sustainability. So when we move ahead in a crux, we try to quickly summarize, and so that we tend to have, I'm sure our students must have definitely worked on this criteria of trying to understand which are the organizations, how do they function, how do they work. And that was one of the reasons why they have been awarded with the Organizational Governance Corporate Awards. So summarizing it, we can see that there are various parameters which leads to effective governance at the end of the day. So after analyzing from our scriptures and trying to understand how the modern management believes in awarding organizations on corporate governance, the summarization talks about the degree of understanding of the networking, the relationship, the governance histories, the cultural geographies, leadership, decision-making authority, and mutual accountability. They all are termed to be coming up and being one of the very important constituents towards effective governance, which leads to further to that. And as we move ahead with the next slide, we also tend to see the elements of the good corporate governance. At the end of the day, it is very important. Organizations need to have a very clear-cut, specific way of doing business. And that is what will help them towards achieving their excellence, towards achieving the desired outcome. So this slide is just a one glimpse about the effects about how good corporate governance looks like and what are the parameters which are being taken, which comes into display. So I think our students must be ready for the presentations coming up. And as we had talked out in the yesterday's, we would love to have presentations talking about probably those organizations who've been awarded with Corporate Governance Award. And we would also like to understand that what are these awards, as we talked about the way ICC is giving awards to organizations and business houses. Similarly, there are many other awards all across the globe which are being bestowed to organizations. So moving it further, we move to the next slide. And then this is focusing upon ultimately a culture of good corporate governance benefits the organization in so many ways. So if we have spent an hour yesterday and we shall be spending another 1 hour today, we need to understand that ultimately when organizations take care, they ensure that they have the right process at the right places, what all achievements they would be having, they would be getting, they would be benefiting. So we've seen that in developing appropriate strategies that will help them to attain the results. Ultimately, we're all working for an outcome. We all have a desired outcome in our minds. So it's very important that we are able to ensure that we perform in such a way that these ultimate outcomes are being achieved. The second talking about to attract, motivate, and retain the talented resource. Absolutely, we have all understood the fact that it is your human brain, it's your talent which is growing your organizations. You may have best of technology, but the technology may not work well unless it is being teamed up by the human mind, by the talent, by the competencies. So having the right people in your organization is one of the dream things for an organization, because that is how the organization will grow ahead in future. So ensuring that the right talent is there, that is extremely important. Good governance helps you ensure to retain your talent with you. As we move on to the next perspective, it says in creating a secure, prosperous operating environment and improving the operational performance. Absolutely. When organizations do well, ultimately, this is what helps them. When they perform well, the operational outcomes are being achieved. They leads to organization growth. It leads to organization progress. So these are some of the benefits which are corporate governance benefits, and of course to manage and mitigate the risk and protection and enhancing the organization reputation. So we have seen students, we have participants, we have seen these are the various understanding, these are various benefits, outcomes which an organization will achieve, and at the end of the day, this is what the organization is wanting. This is the desired outcome which they are expecting. So we can be seeing that corporate governance is just ensuring that the right process is at place, the right regulation, norms, the leader, all in their place, and then it starts functioning, it starts running, it starts performing. So taking this ahead, I think we should be moving ahead with our presentation so that we can have some examples coming up. So can I be inviting the team out here who would be talking about, probably I think we should begin with having presentation of those organizations which have been bestowed with corporate governance awards. And I think that will be able to give us a ready, reckoner and eye openers, which would talk about how these organizations have been functioning. And that is what they have been awarded for, and how they're doing wonders and helping the society, the employees, the stakeholders, the shareholders to come ahead towards path of excellence. And we should also be looking into the various awards which are given to organization for corporate governance. So I think with this, we should now we should now begin with the presentations. And I think I would definitely be wonderful to have presentation of at least two companies, of those companies who've been awarded with the Corporate Governance Award. And let's just have an understanding about how do they function. So I look forward for inviting the first team to come ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, should I present my PPT?
Yes, absolutely. Please proceed.
Ma'am, can you please unshare it once?
Yes, I request the IT team, please unshare the slide so that our student teams can begin with.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, give me a minute.
Sure. And I'm very sure that by the time we have the team coming up with the presentation. Yes, Aditya, so you're ready now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, over to you. Best of luck.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
It was visible earlier, but I think...
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm doing it.
Yes.
Ma'am, is my slide visible?
Yes, yes, it is. Please carry on.
So, good morning, everyone. My team, Aditya Tiwari and Meenal Sagar, will be presenting on the Global CSR Awards. So, ma'am, what is CSR? Refers to the practices and policies undertaken by corporations that are intended to have a positive influence on the world. That the purpose of corporate social responsibility is to give back to the community, take part in philanthropic causes, and provide positive social values. The main objective including minimizing environmental externalities, promoting volunteerism among company employees, and donating or charity. Ma'am, then what is Global CSR Awards 2018? The Global CSR Award is a high-profile international recognition award held in conjunction to the Global CSR Summit to recognize companies and public institutions with the highest standards in governance, transparency, and policy. And its main objective is to focus on their performance. Then there is the global categories. The award categories for 2018 was Best Environmental Excellence Award, Best Community Program Award, Excellence in Provision of Literacy and Education Award, Empowerment of Women Award, Best Workplace Practices, CSR Leadership Award, and the last is Product Excellence Award. Best Country Award for overall CSR excellence was Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, India, Indonesia, and Middle East. As you can see on the slide, these are the categories and criteria. From the selection process is done. Companies can enter as many as projects as they wish in one or more of these categories. The winning company, regardless of size, is simply one of which the opinion of the judges best meets the criteria for each category. These are the awards, and the entries will be there. There will be in-depth research and selection process for the awards, compromising the generation of entries, initial screening, comments, and there the companies can part from all over the world. Then there is a judging criteria in which each submission must include the following information. Credit will be given to companies that report their CSR activities openly and clearly within the context of a recognized CSR reporting framework such as the GRI 63. Second, credit will be given to companies that can demonstrate independent assurance or verification of the impact of their CSR programs from third parties. Credit will be given to companies which are signatories or supporters of international CSR frameworks such as the UN Global Compact or the UN Principles for Responsible Investment, and which demonstrate a clear commitment to fulfilling their responsibility under these frameworks. Fourth, preference will be given to long-term programs which address as wide a range of stakeholders as possible through useful, innovation, and meaningful CSR activities that make a real difference to the environment or to the communities which they touch. Fifth, for new or startup projects, companies are encouraged to show how the projects will build into long-term programs, and credit will be given to clearly identify sustainability features in the design of the project. Then, as you can see on the slide, the Global Good Governance is the Profile International Recognition Award held in the conjunction of Global CSR Summit to recognize public and public institutions. So there are some awards of that are given in the organization is Best CEO, Best CFO, Best Corporate Communication and Investor Relationship Team, Best Governed and Transparent Company. Then this is the categories and criteria. First is Best Chief Executive Officer CEO. The award for the best CEO goes to a person who represents the makings of an effective board leader. That are as follows. First is performance oriented, leadership qualities, talent management, and the last one is corporate social responsibility. Then the next award is Best Financial Officer, that is CFO. In this, the award for Best CFO goes to a person who represents the making of an effective board leader. In this, there is a financial disclosure, transparency, and good corporate governance. And the last is excellence in financial performance and capital adequacy. Thank you so much for the presentation. Ma'am, you are not audible.
Yes. So thank you so much, Aditya. It was a very wonderful presentation wherein you looked into the Corporate Social Responsibility Awards, yes. Which is a very, very important part of business governance, corporate governance, because, taking the responsibility of the society is one of the topmost criteria. Yes, and I'm sure that while working on these presentations, you must have seen and understood how important social responsibility is for an organization.
Yes, helping them. In this, it is also organizing. The registration is closed in 27th of January, and they are planning to pursue this event as well.
Very nice, great, great. So wonderful, Aditya. That was very nice, very wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, Shubhangi, I think you wish to say something. Shubhangi has raised her hand. So that I think that was a wonderful presentation, and I'm sure that participants in this room must have understood that how organizations, global wide, the organizations have understood, have earmarked the concept that it is extremely important corporate social responsibility, which is a very, very important dimension of governance. We need to be socially responsible towards the society wherein we live. And after this wonderful presentation of Aditya, very nice, I can see we have another presentation lined up, which is for NTPC. Very good. Yes, so NTPC is one of the Maharatnas who've been awarded with Corporate Excellence Award, Corporate Governance Award. And now let us see how NTPC works. Now over to you, team.
Good morning, England. Good evening, India. Today, let's talk about NTPC. NTPC Limited, formerly known as National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. It is a company incorporated under Companies Act 1956 and is promoted by Government of India. The headquarters of the company is situated at New Delhi. NTPC is firmly guided by its philosophy, and its core business of power generation is integrally intertwined with social and environmental growth. NTPC policies and actions are geared towards adding the country's overall economic growth process, uplifting the society at large, and nurturing a greener planet. NTPC is all about harmonizing the 3 Ps: people, planet, and power. Next slide. Sustainability and vision. NTPC has great sustainability and vision for the environmental practices. They help in developing reliable power at competitive prices. They help in making the society, uplifting it, and promoting a healthy environment. Initiating eco-friendly technologies and thereby contributing to economic development of the nation is one of the core objectives of NTPC. Next slide. NTPC's efforts towards the nation. They contribute towards clean and sustainable environment with respect to land, water and air. They support the measures for biodiversity conversions by following the practices of protecting, conserving and restoring ecosystem. They believe in transparent, ethical and fair means to all stakeholders. They generate awareness, share knowledge and support training programs on sustainable development as well. Next slide. Awards of NTPC. NTPC is awarded for their great works towards the environment and sustainability. Firstly, they are awarded by PhD Chamber of Commerce Good Corporate Citizenship Award. Second, awarded from Sri Sri Ravi Shankar on 26 November 2016. Thirdly, honored by Ashosham Corporate Governance Excellence Award enlisted PSU category 2014. Next slide. They are also awarded by Golden Peacock Golden Awards, which are instituted by World Council for Corporate Governance. They are awarded with Golden Peacock Golden Awards for Excellence in Corporate Governance. The award was received by Ms. Nandini Sarkar, the company secretary, on the behalf of the company. India presented the award at a ceremony held in London, UK on 29 October 2014. It was a great achievement for us. The award was conferred at a special award function on 10th International Conference on Corporate Governance. Now I would like Arunima to take over.
Next slide. Corporate citizenship. NTPC is dedicated to making a positive impact amongst the communities where they work and the country at large. Recognizing that the growth of India is only possible when the whole country is empowered, their energies are directed towards Recognizing that the growth of India is only possible when the whole country is empowered, their energies are directed towards ensuring holistic development in the communities around making the world a better place to live. Next slide. Empowering people. NTPC is guided by their firm belief that by empowering people, we inspire communities to better themselves and reach for the stars. The key to the development of any country or society is education. Not just any education, rather qualitative and wholesome education to ensure that their efforts to build responsible citizens and ideal human beings bear fruit. Next slide. For the same, NTPC has taken these many initiatives. Next slide. Rehabilitation and resettlement. The population getting affected by such projects or plans need to be given special attention to protect their rights, minimize their losses, and to help them to restore a secure mean of livelihood. NTPC has always paid greater attention to developing robust rehabilitation strategies, focusing on the effective rehabilitation and resettlement of PAPs, wherein community development works in and around the projects. Thank you.
Wow, that was a wonderful presentation talking about the Maharatna NTPC Limited. And we have seen how this organization ensures to take care of its employees across the country. And NTPC has always been known for their very, very high performance, extremely high performance organization. And the way they have moved from being Mini Ratna to Navratna and now today Maharatna, I'm very sure that with this presentation, our other participants must have understood how work and performance flows in the organization, and no wonder why they've been awarded with so many awards. Wonderful team. That was very nice presentation put up by the team trying to give us an understanding, a glimpse about how NTPC works. If you happen to be in the plant and in plant of any of these organizations, you would realize that actually work flows in the air, right from the township to the plants. Each and every employee, whether they are permanent or they are on temporary, everyone is orientation. So the governance in there, governance happening in NTPC has been so beautifully designed that each employee knows his chain of command, knows his span of control, is aware about his work, and absolutely the company believes in right person doing the right work at the right time at the right place. So wonderful team. That was very nice presentation given by the team. And I think, should we be moving ahead with the next presentation? Oh yes, wonderful. So we have the next presentation coming across is for IOCL, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Wonderful. Over to you, team.
A very warm welcome to everyone present in this another beautiful session of the Student Virtual Exchange, which is happening between Amity University and the University of Winchester. Today, me, Hanu Sharma, and my co-presenter, Akarshi, will be talking about Indian Oil Corporation Limited. The next slide, please. About the company. So Indian public sector oil and gas company that deals in hydrocarbon value chain, refining, pipeline transportation, marketing of petroleum products, exploration and production of crude oil, natural gas, and petrochemicals. It also ventures in alternative energy and has its subsidiaries in Sri Lanka, Mauritius, and the Middle East. In May 2018, IOCL became India's most profitable state-owned company for the second consecutive year. Over to you, Akarshi.
Thank you, Hanu. Now, can we have the next slide, please? Now, let's have a look at the vision and mission of IOCL. Indian Oil nurtures the core values of care, innovation, passion, and trust across the organization in order to deliver value to its stakeholders. Also, its shared vision is to facilitate the corporation's endeavors to be the energy of India and to become a globally admired company. Can we have the next slide, please? This diagram shows where the company focuses more on and what all aspects are important for them, like ethics, people, innovation, environment, technology, and customers. Over to you, Hanu.
Since we all are talking about corporate governance, it is very important that we look at this aspect of IOCL's corporate governance. Indian Oil remains true to the belief that good corporate governance practices lead to efficient running of the company and help in optimizing value for all its stakeholders. With the adoption of code of conduct for directors and senior management personnel, code of conduct for prevention of insider trading, policy on risk assessment, and minimizing the procedural complicacies, the company has further enhanced its commitment towards corporate governance. Anyone and everyone can access documents, memos, emails, opinions, advices, press releases in any electronic form, and any information relating to any private body relating to the company can be accessed by everyone. Over to you, Akarshi.
Thank you, Hanu. Can we have the slide of awards and recognitions? Next slide. Now let's have a look at the awards and recognitions won by IOCL. Indian Oil Corporation has been awarded the Best PSU or Corporation for the Promotion of Sports at the annual Sports Star Aces Award ceremony in Mumbai. Second, Indian Oil conferred the National CSR Award in 2019. Next, the International Air Transport Association honors Indian Oil with Award of Recognition at the Fuel Forum in New Orleans, USA in 2019. Next, Indian Oil is Outstanding PSU of the Year at IMA Managing India Awards 2019. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for listening to us with patience and giving us this opportunity to express our ideas.
Next
And
slide,
please
please.
follow us on our social media.
That was such a wonderful presentation, very nice and wonderfully so crisp. You have put it across about how IUCL works, and no wonder the reason why they have been bestowed with so many awards. So wonderful team, the way you have put it across for for understanding, for making us understand about how IUCL works and the reasons of their getting so many awards. So great team. That was a wonderful presentation. We really hope all our participants must have gained a lot. Yes. So that was really nice, wonderful, and I think we should be moving on with the next presentation as well. Yes, team, can we have the next presentation? Because after that, then we'll move ahead with the concept, with the topic that we've been so religiously working upon.
Ma'am, unfortunately, they couldn't join us today due to some reasons. Can we continue with the session, ma'am?
Okay, that's not a problem. Wonderful. Okay, so now as we have seen, we have had a presentation, the students' presentation about how they are proceeding and how organizations have been bestowed with these awards. And we have seen wonderful example coming from our two Maharatnas of the country, IUCL and NTPC, the way they function, the way they proceed further. So I'm really sure that the participants will have had a practical understanding, practical implication about how corporate governance works. Now, when we have since yesterday, we have been we have been speaking on this concept, and I'm sure that our participants will have a little more, a deeper understanding about the topic. I think it'll be wonderful that, let's have a quick, can we have a quick quiz on this so that we tend to see where do we stand and how we have been able to gain across it. So just give me 1 minute and I'm sharing my screen, and what you have to do is as you will see, the screen will display an event code. So you will have to open up another browser, another window, and then join, and to write join my quiz. So just give me 1 minute and then we have the screen sharing. Yes, I think you should be able to see the screen now, and the screen talks about, there it is. So now I think that you can see a screen out there. You have to open up another browser next with on join my quiz, joinmyquiz.com, and you'll be able to enter into this quiz by entering into this code. You'll have to join by entering through this code. So I think we can begin. Can we have you all there? So once I'm able to see you that you have logged in, yes, I can see one of our participants have logged in. So we would be requesting, let everybody quickly log into the system and then we shall begin with the quiz. Wonderful, we have Simran also joining over. So students, I hope, participants, I really hope you do not face any problem. It is there on your screen, joinmyquiz.com. As soon as you enter, you have to enter with the code. Very nice. I can see Devya has also joined over. So participants, I request you to kindly join at the earliest so that we are able to gain maximum. And I begin the quiz once we have the students. Very nice. I can see Hanu, I can see Miss Kajal. Everyone is joining over. So quickly, it will not take you more than half a second to join over. Wonderful. Arunima, Saurav, we have so many of our participants joining. Wow, very nice. We have from Norway, UK, Aditya. So people are joining over. So we have around 9 of our participants have joined. I quickly expect some more to join fast, and then we begin with the with the quiz. Yes, I really hope that no one is facing any problem. All that you have to do, it's right there on your screen. Yes, we have the 10th participant coming over. Wonderful. 11th. So now, as we are proceeding and as we have the participants coming over and joining us, I would just like to talk about that this quiz is just based upon what we have been doing since yesterday. Yesterday, we spoke about the concept of corporate governance. We understood, tried to understand from our past, from our history, of how this word has been there in times, and then now we have been how we've been moving ahead in corporate governance, the contemporary corporate governance, how so in this way. So that's really wonderful. We have almost 17 participants who've joined us, and I think we should be beginning now. We should be able to move ahead. Okay, so with this now we begin. I would really request the other participants to join over too. And I'm really, really sure that you will really enjoy this quiz and just try to see that, your understanding, because this is how you will be working the organization. So I think we begin now. There you are.
It is requested to everyone to wait as ma'am is joining back. She's facing some network issues. Thank you.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
1 minute and I close the quiz.
So, ma'am, your voice is a bit low. Can you?
Yes.
Ma'am is saying just wait a second. She's closing the quiz and then she'll adjust.
So with this, I'm sure that you must have participated in the quiz, and then we have seen about a simple understanding about corporate governance. So I'm sure that the basics, you must have seen that how important it is when we are talking about the very, very important concept of corporate governance. So with this, as we proceed further, I hope I'm audible to everyone. Yes? Am I audible to everyone? I hope that.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's wonderful. Initially, there was a little technical glitch, but thankfully. Yes. So as we proceed with this concept of corporate governance, now I would really like to ask you that when we talk about corporate governance, right, what comes to your mind? So since yesterday we have looked at the history, we have looked about how in the Indian context we have had corporate governance happening right from Ramayana to Mahabharata. We have seen about how it has been coming across in our Vedas. It has been there in the Indian history, and we have understood about modern contemporary corporate governance. So, and today when we've had such wonderful presentation happening for the IOCL company, for the NTPC, and we've also seen about corporate social responsibility. So in simple terms, I think corporate governance should be very clear, talking about what does it mean. So maybe can we have 2 answers coming from the audience? Yes? We can have about an understanding. Anybody would like to unmute themselves and tell us and that what does corporate governance now mean to you? Yes, I think we can have one of our, any one of our dynamic participants to come across, because we've understood that yes, corporate governance is the way of living life in organizations. It's extremely important. When we have understood the meaning, we have in simple terminologies, we have put across the values, the process, the norms, the regulations. So all the dimensions which make up business, they have to be in place. Wonderful. I can see Aditya has raised his hand. Yes, Aditya. Can we have your perspective coming over?
Yes, ma'am. So according to me, corporate governance is the system by which companies are directed or controlled in their perspective way.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Very nice, very nice. Good, Aditya. Exactly. And it is a very simple meaning, you know, and I'm very, very sure that you must have understood that, you know, organizations at the, they always have very specific, very clear cut, you know, targets for themselves. They have very clear objectives. What do they want? What is the organization looking at? So the path which is being created, with the right people in place, with the right process in place, with the right performance standards in place, the organization is expecting for achieving the objectives. And this is how organizations grow. This is how they keep on performing. Now, could anybody also identify that when we are talking about corporate governance, there is a very, very important 2 pillars which play an important role. What were those 2 pillars that you could identify? Yes, the 2 pillars of corporate governance, which has to be there. It has to be built in the system. And this is what makes corporate governance successful. Wonderful. I can see Aditya again raising hand. Wonderful. Aditya, can we hear from you?
Ma'am, it is transparency.
Yes, very nice. Wonderful.
And the responsibility and accountability.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful. Which means we have to be very, very transparent. So when we are transparent, we know we can put it across. It is there. It is visible. So things are known. It is clear. And then you are wonderful. So first answer which Aditya gave was transparency. And the second, which is equally very, very important, and that comes across, is accountability. Each and every one has to be accountable for their jobs. We are accountable for our responsibilities. So when we have a governance system which is very transparent in and fair in its approach, and each one is accountable for the good and the bad, the kingdom, the organization, the business is bound to do well. So these basics, so the ethics that we have been talking about. So when we talk about transparency, we are basically talking about doing the right thing at the right time, at the right place. And that is open. It's open to everyone. It's visible to everyone. So ethics becomes a very important pillar of corporate governance. And that is why the world has been always been working on it. If we look back and we look at those organizations who've been sustaining for years and years and years, one common thing that you will see in all of them is they're extremely very, very high on business ethics. So corporate governance, the pillars are very, very important, focusing on the concept of business ethics. So business ethics rules all the process. So the way you have your hiring system, the way you have your performance standards, ratings, each and every process has ethics inbuilt in it. It's fabricated in the entire learning process. It is fabricated in every process of the organization, which means total quality at the workplace, ensuring that the right standards, the right ethics are in place so that we tend to have the required outcome. The outcome has to be ethical in nature. So extremely very, very important point. So first point that we spoke about was the business ethics, which is a very, very important part. And that has to be fabricated. That has to be intrinsically be a part of every process of corporate governance. So the leader works on ethical issues. The employees, the processes, the jobs they're doing at the individual level, at the shop floor level, at the manager level, each concept ensures that ethics flows in the air, in the organization, in the culture of the organization. So extremely important. And then when we come across, the first pillar was very, very clear, accountability, as Aditya has just talked about. Aditya has spoken about the accountability, responsibility, and transparency. So we can put it down across as one pillar being the business ethics. And the second very, very important pillar talks about changes in the process as time changes. So which means every process that you have, it needs a continuous auditing. So the way you handle your employees, you need to ensure that time to time it is updated. The laws, the legal aspects, as they are being implemented at the government level, same way it has to be back. So each and every process from time to time, it has been updated. And that is a very important component of corporate governance. It's extremely important. Change is it's the law of life. So as a time, we have seen how the last year, 2020, has been extremely, extremely difficult for the entire globe. But organizations which have been able to quickly adapt to the changing scenario, this is where they have been doing well, and that is what corporate governance is all about. There are so many aspects, macro factors, which is absolutely not in your control. Nobody ever imagined that such a kind of thing would happen and people would always remember how 2020 it has been, how global economy has severely impacted just not one country, but all across the world. So what it talks about, corporate governance talks about looking into all kind of situations. And this is only possible when we have changes, updates, fabricated, working in the process. So no process is closed. Every process is open towards the best of updates. Nobody ever imagined that, we could all be sitting together on this virtual platform and having this wonderful learning sessions by all the, esteemed professors and faculties, and we would have a wonderful, interaction happening with you all participants. But yes, it's happened. So this is real. This is where the real corporate governance lies. Trying to ensure that we're able to take out opportunities from every situation. How so good, how so bad. This is what corporate governance believes in: being open, being vigilant, ensuring to be sensitized with all the changes across the world in the external environment, so that we tend to have more people. We tend to ensure that we have people, we have the right things at the right place. So I am very sure that our participants must have understood that corporate governance is extremely important. And in fact, we would also talk about that corporate governance is just not required for the giants. It's just not required only for big organizations. But corporate governance is equally important for small organizations, for literally startups also, for SMEs also, because it is the way of doing business, the right way of doing business. So it doesn't matter whether it's a beginning or it's already an established organization. Excuse me. So this is something very important. Corporate governance has to be the way of functioning, whether big or small. So when the policies and practices are based upon ethics, they are based upon the updates, timely updates, organizations are bound to do well. So this is the time when we have to ensure that each one of us is able to see that, yes, this is how corporate governance works and this is how things work, and it is just about putting the right things at the right places. Organizations are bound to do well. So I'm very, very sure that the entire concept must have come across, and we have understood with this very simple understanding that corporate governance is just no jargon. It is very, very simple way of trying to take things ahead. Yes. So with this, I would also like to talk about, and we would also like to mention that I'm sure that now when you look at organizations, whenever you're reading about successful organizations, do try to study how do they function? What made them so successful? What are the reasons for their success? The reason may be magical, but there are process behind those magic. So when you find organizations doing exceptionally well, and next time when you read an article and you see that how an organization has been awarded with the Corporate Excellence Award, Corporate Governance Award, do try to understand what is the way of functioning there. And if you happen to join an organization which has been awarded with Corporate Governance Award, do try to understand that what are the ways, what are the processes that they follow that has made them a class apart, that has made them to be deserving for the award. And next time when you think about how to take your organization ahead, do look at, revisit the corporate governance process, the system which is being made. In fact, I would also like to mention that study the emerging and the growing and the excellence, organization. Do definitely go into their homepage and find out the link for corporate governance. That will exclusively give you an idea, an understanding about how they are functioning, how they have defined their system. So please, participants, a very, very important, I think learning that we should be going today with is that when we achieve the desired learning, the desired outcomes, there has been a process behind it. The process is very clear. The process is very, it's very specific, it's very specified. So the more specified we are, the work flows better. So do look into the governance system the organization has. And that will be able to give you a complete picture of how they are functioning, how they're working, right? So I'm really, really sure that each one of us are walking away out of this room with a little knowledge more, a little inquisitiveness more in our head, in our minds, that when we look at organizations which are successful, at the same time, do look into those organizations who probably could not function or could not, who have been maybe who've missed out on their objectives. Do again look out, identify what would have been the missing link. Where was it that probably they missed upon, and that was the reason why they have things not working in the way they had expected. They had expected to happen, right? So students, so participants, right, with this, I would like to close and talk about that ultimately every organization, every territory, every kingdom, every business is looking out for peace and harmony to flow in the organization so that there is more happiness, there is more feel-good factor, stakeholders are happy, the shareholders are satisfied with the organization, the way it's performing, the way it's sustaining in this very, very volatile VUCA environment. For that sake, I would say, right? So please do look at the corporate governance system to get a complete understanding for the success, excellence, and the sustainability of the business. With this, I would like to thank each one of you for spending time to be here. Thank you so much, Mr. Simon, to be there with us. I'm equally very, very grateful to all our participants, to our presenters. Yes, they have worked hard to give us a very crisp presentation. I'm equally very thankful to my IT team, to my students team who have been there and who've helped us out in making these two sessions enriching for all of us. With this, I would say thank you to each one of you. Thank you so much. And if we have any kind of queries, we can always put it across, and I'm open to all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. Thank you so much. Your presence was indeed very, very encouraging. And we just pray and that sometime we do meet and we have a wonderful, peaceful world back again.
Absolutely. And have a great weekend as well. Have a nice relax now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Simon. Thank you. And have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Speak to you soon.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Anupma. Thank you so much for the wonderful